Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Money Down Pod. I am your host, Kayvon and Shawn, along with my other host, Shawn White. This is our second episode here of the Money Down Pod. We're super pumped about it. We appreciate everyone for following along. You can find the Money Down Pod on Twitter at Money Down Pod. You can find us on YouTube, and in a little bit, you'll be able to find us on Spotify, iTunes, all of that. Shawn, if you want to quickly touch on that, and then I'll go into real quick what our podcast is about.
Yeah, so we're real new to this. I'm kind of doing a lot of the editing part, so I've kind of got a learning curve. So there's a bunch of steps you got to go through. Get us up on Apple Podcasts, get us up on Spotify. So I'm trying to work out the kinks on that. Time will tell. We're gonna get better at this as we keep growing. We'll get it going. It'll be all good.
The only thing that matters is the content is going to be 100 every single time. Eventually you'll be able to find this every place that you find your podcasts and videos and all that stuff. But the content will always be there. So how the Money Down Pod works, it's me, my guy, Shawn White, two homies that talk sports all the time anyways. We thought we'd bring it to the public and let you guys hear our thoughts. We will do 3 shows a week. We will have a Monday show that will be a reaction from the week. That will come out Tuesday morning. We'll have a Wednesday show looking into college football, what's coming up, maybe a little NFL then. That will come out Thursday. And then we'll have a Thursday show strictly for the NFL, breaking down. This is the biggest show of the week, really, breaking down everything that's going to happen on Sunday, Monday, all of that stuff. So that's how it's going to work. You can always reach out to us on Twitter if you have any questions, if you want us to talk about anything at Money Down Pod. Shawn White, before we get into it, my man, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Can't wait to get started on this recording. And also make sure we do some subscribing, commenting on YouTube. We can answer questions from that as well. We want to hear the takes coming back at us. We want to react to what you're saying just as much as you're reacting to us. So let's get it going.
Hey, even if you hate us, tell us, please.
Yeah, hey.
That drives us, baby. So let us
I'm
know.
A Jags fan, y'all. Everyone loves to hate on us all the time, saying we don't have fans. I might be the only one out there, but I'll flame your team right back too. So
see, the sad thing is, man, is I'm a Falcons fan, and as bad as you guys have been, I think that there's more hate coming our way because of what happened in 2016. Like, I don't think we'll ever, whenever I tell someone I'm a Falcons fan, that's immediately what they go to, bro. It's immediately. Oh, yeah. I cannot tell a new person that I'm a Falcons fan without them saying, oh, 2016.
28-3.
Yeah, it's the absolute worst. That's how I'm going to die, but whatever. All right, so let's move on to Sunday. First, before we get into the Sunday game, Shawn, I think we should talk about quickly what happened Thursday night. Like, look, the game was ugly. We kind of predicted it was going to be ugly when we did our show yesterday talking about college football, which you guys can go and check that out on YouTube or on Twitter. And we gave out some locks for that and everything. That was a lot of fun. But for Thursday, we saw Case Keenum, even though it's the ugly Broncos team, and we're now seeing that this 3-0 start from the Broncos is as fraud as any fraud could get. But they still won the game. Case Keenum looked perfectly fine. What are your thoughts of this moving forward for Baker? Not on the game, but for Baker.
I think it hurts Baker trying to get 40 mil. That's for sure. I wouldn't give him 40, but we'll see about that. That big payday might have to wait. That's for sure. The Browns' offensive line was dominant last night, and that's their main strength right there. Pushing around the Broncos defense. Broncos, though, I got to flame them for a second, too. Frauds, like you said. I mean, I saw him play the Jags. Teddy was just throwing to wide open receivers, running under and everything. And now that that's closed up, that they've been exposed real big time. Fangio's definitely in trouble with that job. And I wonder if they're going to end up regretting that Surtain pick, even though Surtain's a beast, because they're going to need a quarterback. Maybe they get Rodgers and it ends up okay, but they're definitely going to need a quarterback. But as far as Baker is concerned, Case played well, man. And Baker's hurt. So, I mean, do you hold him out? I mean, you got to hold him out a few times to get that shoulder healed. I don't think Case is going to win multiple playoff games. I think Baker's more likely to elevate him there. But it's looking rough for Baker and that $40 million paycheck after that game.
No doubt. So a couple of things you said that I think are spot on. First of all, you're right. Fangio's gone. Like, the question now is, does he even last the whole season? I think because the way the Broncos kind of do their stuff, they're not usually someone to fire someone midseason. So I think they will let him go. But there's no chance that he's here for another season. The Surtain pick is fascinating because if Fields does become a superstar, or Mac Jones, who I know he's in New England, but I think he looks really good. I know being in New England helps him. If those guys really pan out, then you're right. The Broncos they're gonna regret that. Unless, like you said, they get Aaron Rodgers. When it comes to Baker, simple question. You're gonna take Case Keenum over a hurt Baker, right?
Over hurt, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
if Baker's
hurt,
not healthy, you throw Keenum out there.
You got to, especially with how much Stefanski likes Keenum, and Keenum's clearly really comfortable. The main takeaway for me is you could run behind that Browns offensive line. They are incredible. And it just makes me think even more that, like, they can't, whether Baker's hurt or not, they can't pay Baker because they can't take away from that offensive line and from the other talent on that team. The reason why that team is so good is because they have the money to build all of these pieces. Once they pay Baker a big contract, dude, Baker is not a guy that is going to do what Lamar's doing. Half that team is decimated in Baltimore, and Lamar is carrying them. J.K. Dobbins goes down, Lamar's carrying them. Baker is not going to be that kind of guy. He has to be a guy that takes a pay cut, in my opinion, to keep a very good team around him. Otherwise, I think we could see him get real bad play from him.
Yeah. Baker's definitely not that guy to carry a team. That's for sure. I mean, if you look at how Joe Burrow's been playing compared, and Burrow don't have the line Baker has. He has Chase, but
it's a great
he
point.
doesn't have the line. He doesn't have the two running backs either. Mixon's solid, but it ain't Chubb and Hunt.
Not Chubb and Hunt at all, no.
I mean, even if you look down the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing with us, he has nothing around him. And I mean, he's still out there balling every day. So that's just a bad look for Baker in itself.
Yeah, so. Real quick, and I'm putting you on the spot here, so we didn't talk about this. Let's play a game, all right? I'm going to go through the AFC quarterbacks. Tell me if you would take Baker over them. Just say yes or yes, you would take Baker over them, or no, you wouldn't, okay?
All right.
Let's start with the obvious. Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Justin Herbert.
No.
Lamar Jackson.
No.
All right. Joe Burrow.
No.
Derek Carr.
No.
Trevor Lawrence.
No, of course not.
Completely agree. And then this is when it gets interesting. Because I guess, am I missing any other top quarterback?
Josh Allen, obviously.
But. Oh, yeah, duh. Josh Allen, yeah. So those are the ones where, so that's like 8 quarterbacks right there.
Yeah, you're quicker to just pick which you take over him.
You would take over. You're right.
Ben,
I think 98% of people would probably say no to all of those that we said. So it's like Tua, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Big Ben. Like that's the only ones. Teddy Bridgewater, that's really. Oh, Carson Wentz. Would you take Carson Wentz?
That's where that rub is, and I'd probably take Carson Wentz, honestly. That's the rub line right there. And honestly, Zach Wilson with the upside, I really couldn't justify going with Baker over that. If you could just go by contract, because Zach's gonna be cheap for the next 2 years. You got to see what you have, and you're gonna have to pay Baker something. He isn't gonna take $20 million. It's gonna be 30. It's gonna be 30 plus, and he's gonna want more, but.
No, you're right, man. You're right. And also you put Zach on a team like the Browns, he could look way better this year. I mean, he's on, it's just the Browns are so good. It should be making Baker look great. I understand he's injured, but it's going to be a fascinating thing to see, man, because another thing is if he does try and go out there hurt, if he doesn't let this thing heal and he gets even more hurt, then what do? Then they definitely can't pay him. And then he's out and he's like this Mr. Tough guy. Like he's not going to sit, that's just not how he is.
Yeah, he's going to want to play. I mean, he was already arguing with the team doctors about it, so he's going to want to play. So we'll see. We'll see if he even can get out there and do it. He's got 2 different injuries now. It's 2 different injuries in the shoulder. So that's a rough thing to play through as a quarterback, especially even if it is your off shoulder. You're still torquing. You're still doing a lot of stuff with it. So, and if you land on it, you're done.
That's what I was just. If you land on it, I mean, dude, the pain. And I respect him for being tough. You can't take that away from him. He's a tough guy. It's not helping the team. They've got to roll Keenum out there for as long as they can to get him healthy.
I mean, it sounds like I'm just shitting on the guy, but I mean, I like Baker to an extent,
I agree.
It's just over other guys. I know the analogy has been used by everybody. I think like Bucky Brooks and all them comes over. Like, are you a truck or a trailer? He's a trailer guy. That's just what it is. He's a
That's like
trailer guy.
love that analogy. And it's like you said right there. It's not that we're shitting on him. It's just the AFC has such good quarterbacks. And when the Browns front office and Kevin Stefanski are looking at it, the end goal is to win a Super Bowl. So you have to say, can Baker beat this guy? And when you say, can he beat Patrick Mahomes? No. Josh Allen? No. In a couple years from now, when the Jags get better with Trevor Lawrence? No. Like the head to head, I'm not taking. I just don't think he can beat those guys, and that's when they're going to have a serious issue.
He's got Lamar and Burrow in his division.
Yeah, and Burrow. I mean,
if Burrow and Trevor Lawrence can get to the point where they're looking to get up to, like where their trajectory is on, that AFC is a murderer's row of quarterbacks.
It is, dude. It really is.
And if Rodgers was to get traded to the AFC, that's like a stack of quarterbacks. Like it's ridiculous. That's one of the most lopsided quarterback conferences like you've seen in general.
And what's crazy is they're all pretty much young.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Every single one of them, Patrick Mahomes might be the oldest one. I mean, like, seriously, like, that's what's crazy. They are all so young. It's the AFC is going to be so fun moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time with that. So,
right. Anything else from this?
You want to transition onto some Sunday stuff?
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Yeah, I figured one of the games I did actually want to talk about is y'all's game this week, Falcons. Yeah. Big time game for y'all. Y'all got to win this week.
It's a huge game, man. When I look at this, and I'm not going to go on to a whole Falcons tantrum here because no one gives a hell about my Falcons, but when I look at it, it makes me so mad that we lost to Washington because we should be sitting here 3-2, sitting pretty, win this game, go 4-2, but we lost that game. It's behind us. This is a must-win game. The Dolphins are a disaster. And what I'm thinking right now is, how confident can Tua be in himself? I mean, he has to be feeling like he's going to get kicked out of the door any second now. I do think Arthur Smith is getting better and better as a head coach. I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins. When you look at this game, like, what are you seeing?
I think the Dolphins might implode. This might be the implosion point right here. I can't see how Tua can walk in and prep and be all fine. I can't see how the team can be behind him with all these rumors going on, especially after last week. I think the Falcons probably need to come out and really put it to them these first few drives. Make sure they bury them down real deep to start with, and then don't let up. Because, like I said, it's their playoff hopes right here with the record they're at. It can go away from you quickly, especially with some of these NFC teams. And if Russ comes back with the Seahawks, they're going to try to make a run. So you got to make sure you're in that wild card position because the Buccaneers are so good in that division.
Yeah. No, you're no doubt. The Buccaneers are winning that division. It's all going to come down to the wild card. And you're also right about if the Falcons could go in there and get up 14-0, I think the Dolphins would implode. Like you said, 17-0, 21-0. I think it would be an absolute disaster to the point where I could even see them benching freaking Tua to then end up just trading him the next day. Like, I just don't see how, like you said, I don't care how mentally tough you are as a person. This has to affect you, man. Every way you turn, you're hearing about the team that drafted you 2 years ago already wants to get rid of you. That is so damning to a quarterback, man, to not just any player.
Yeah, it's insane. It's a shot to his confidence for sure. Definitely going to be on display. I just know one thing. I know the Falcons better win, or else this pod on Monday is going to be a roast session.
Oh my God, we might spend the whole damn hour talking about how pissed off I am at the Falcons. We have to win, dude. There's no excuses about it. I want to see this real quick. I want to see more Kyle Pitts. I want to build off that game that we had, dude. Kyle Pitts, he's not having a bad rookie year. It's just the expectations were so high that people are like, oh, he's only had a 50-yard game, a 60-yard game, and then finally he has a 100-yard game, and everyone's like, oh, there it is, when he's actually been good. He's actually on record to have the receiving record for tight ends if he keeps going at this rate. So I'm fine with Kyle Pitts, but I just want to see Arthur Smith keep getting everyone involved in the offense. Dante Fowler just went on IR, which really sucks, man, because I know you're very familiar with Dante Fowler with Jacksonville. he actually was having a really good season, man. He's had a couple of sacks. He's had a couple of strip sacks. He was definitely our best pass rusher. Now, that doesn't mean a lot with us, but he was. And to see him go on IR, that really does suck. I do think the Dolphins will be able to move the ball on our defense because it's not very good. But Arthur Smith should absolutely dominate this offense. This defense. Matt Ryan should dominate that defense. There shouldn't be any ifs, ands, buts about it. I think that they should hang 31 or more on this Dolphins defense.
Yeah, I really want to see them use Pitts how they did in London.
Yes.
Because I did this with you. I charted his and Ridley's routes the game before.
Awesome.
Because you were talking about the offense slowing. I wanted and them not using Matt Ryan throwing the deep ball anymore. And I wanted to see their depth of target. And the game before, Pitts was doing nothing but outs and inside breaking routes at like anywhere from 8 to 12 yards.
That's it.
And that just didn't feel right to me. I thought he should be hitting the seam like a ton. I mean, he should be making a living how Kelsey does, or Waller. It's more of a Waller comparison because they're both freaks, like athletically. So then when I saw the London highlights without Ridley, they started putting him in the depth of targets where I thought he should be. So I want to see them do that and still have Ridley on the field. It would make sense.
I want to see that.
I'm kind of looking for.
I really hope that Arthur Smith keeps that up. I hope he wasn't just trying to make up for Ridley being out. Ridley will be back and Gage will be back. So I hope Arthur Smith doesn't go away from what we were seeing with Kyle Pitts because he's a weapon, man. I don't care that he's a rookie. He's a weapon. I will be fascinated to see how Arthur Smith keeps developing as he moves forward. Anything else about this game before we move on?
No, I think that's it. Fantasy wise, I'm pretty sure it's mostly Ridley and Pitts that needs to be must starts. Waddle maybe. So
yeah, I agree. I will say this.
Cordero too.
Yeah, because Cordero, man. I mean, who would have ever thought? But a lot of QBs, a lot of teams are on buys this week, right? Like, I mean, there's more buys. I do think if Ryan is available in your league, I do think he's a good streaming option this week. I think him and Carr are really good streaming options this week because if you have a Josh Allen, if you have these other QBs that are on buys, it's Justin Herbert, these kind of guys, it's going to be tough to find someone. And I think Ryan, I'm telling you, I think Ryan should have a huge game. And I do also like Waddle as well. I think that because he's going to be going up against our slot rookie, which is Avery Williams. And it's not very good. He's a rookie. He's not very good. Waddle should have a big game. So fantasy-wise, one thing about the Dolphins, man, Myles Gaskin in that running game is nowhere to be found. I mean, if you drafted Myles Gaskin thinking he will have a big year from how he finished last year, you got to be so disappointed.
Oh, so full disclosure, my wife was like a big fan, had him last year. She's in my fantasy league.
He was awesome last year.
Yeah, she's like really serious about it as well. like surprisingly serious. But she'll play. She was playing Gaskin, and then she had him on the bench when he put up like 26 fantasy points in standard the other week. And then she put him in last week, and he did nothing against the Jags. And she watches us play every week too. She was so mad. She was livid.
That is the worst. I love the passion though. I love the passion.
But Gaskin's been kind of a bust. Other than that one game, he hadn't really been putting up a ton of numbers, and he hasn't really been getting targeted all that much for PPR either. He's not even getting the catches. So
yeah, I don't know what they're doing on offense, man. They changed their coordinators too over the summer, which was
I think this is 3 straight years they fired a coordinator. I think this is their 3rd new one with Flores. He can't hold an offensive coordinator.
It is, man. It's not. I feel bad for Tua, man. And I know Tua hasn't been great, but he really, I just can't. And we already talked about this last night. I really cannot remember an organization that has let go of a QB so quickly as they have. It's ridiculous. But you want to move on?
Oh no. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That's all.
Okay. No, okay. I was more so thinking about the next game we were going to do.
Yeah. Which one do you want to move to now?
What you thinking? Maybe Chiefs Titans, since that's a big one.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm gonna say this right now: 57.5 for all you bettors out there. It's a high number. I would still take it. It's going over. Neither of these defenses. I understand the Titans defense stopped Josh Allen somewhat on Monday Night Football. The Bills really just got in their way, man. They had some bad plays. That 4th down call he slipped. I honestly didn't like the call, but I think that the Chiefs win this game, Shawn. I think the Chiefs win this game. I think that they are starting to get back on track. the interesting thing about the Chiefs, man, is their offense is still amazing. They just turn the ball over. They have the fewest punts in the league. Like, they still barely punt the ball. The problem is they just drive it down, and Mahomes has been, which is not normal Mahomes, this is college Mahomes, he's been throwing interceptions. That's the only Chiefs issue, is the turnovers, and then obviously the defense.
Yes, pound that over for sure. Because I know a lot of people might go in and be like, "Oh, they're just going to ball control with Henry." Henry might just break like 370-yard runs and give the ball back right to him. Like, I don't know if they're going to stop. They're not going to stop him at all, but it's going to be chunk yards. I don't think it's going to be like 2 here, 3 there, 6 for the first down. It's not going to be some grinded out game. I literally don't think they're going to tackle him.
Yeah. No, it's completely.
And then Mahomes is going to torch that secondary. That secondary is done for.
One thing to your point, these teams, I got this stat for this game. These teams have played each other 3 times since Tannehill has taken over the Titans and Mahomes there. All 3 games have gone over 62 points. So, I mean, this is 57.5. So, it's going to fly over.
And AJ and Julio's playing too. So I think the whole cast is back. Like I said, Titans defense is really bad, and people would probably talk about it a lot more if the Chiefs defense wasn't really bad. Yeah. So it's just too bad. It's going to be like one of those Big 12 shootouts, in my opinion.
Yep.
You're gonna see gashing 20-yard runs. You're going to see Mahomes throwing 60-yard bombs. That's what I feel. If it's something other than that, it'd be a complete shocker. And I'll come on here Monday and just be in complete shock about it. But
me too.
It's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm on the Chiefs as well.
If you play DFS, load up your lineups with these 2 teams. So you have the Chiefs winning as well?
Yeah. I got the Titans covering the spread, but I got the Chiefs winning outright.
I like that, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Chiefs win outright. Real quick, and then what are your thoughts on this Chiefs team?
They're gonna
like in terms of. Can they make I mean, of course they can make a Super Bowl run, but where do you stack them up with Chargers who've beat them, Baltimore who's beat them? Where do you stack them up in the AFC?
I'm not quite as sold on the Chargers as a lot of people are, and that's something we could probably get into at some point.
Yeah. Next week when they get back from their bye, we'll get into that.
They're good, but something just doesn't feel right about them. And I love Herbert as much as the next guy, but God, he's surrounded by freaking baller receivers. So now that left tackle is crazy there too. But as far as the Chiefs go,
he's amazing. Such a great pick by them.
The AFC is murderer's row.
It is.
And Mahomes is still the king, but that defense just might. But if they can get Frank Clark and Chris Jones back to playing, again, they just need to peak at the right time defensively. I'm not ready to write them off.
No.
But this Chiefs team isn't the one from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't think their defense is going to make that big of a turnaround in the next 8-9 weeks. So I'll have to see how that defense plays at the end of the year before I call anything. But right now, this is not a Super Bowl winning defense by any means. I think they lose to about 6 different teams in clutch games unless Mahomes just literally puts them on the back. Which is what he's trying to do. That's why he's throwing so many picks. He's trying to win every game on every throw, all the games on every throw. Like, he feels like he needs to score every time. Yeah, which I get that. Trevor Lawrence did that first few weeks. Yeah.
No, when you're that good, you feel that obligation on you because you feel like you can do it. And most of the time you usually can, but it's the NFL. It's a little bit harder. So yeah, we'll get into it more. I was interested in your Chargers thought when you said you're not that high on them. I'm high on them. I'm not Super Bowl high on them, but this will be a good conversation for later. I'm in love with Brandon Staley. He is my favorite coach in the NFL right now, dude. I just can't get enough of his press conferences for the way he goes for it on 4th down. I'm all about Brandon Staley. I really like his mindset.
See, that's a good one because I'm like half in, half out on him. Like after the Ravens game, I kind of saw
it was bad. There's some holes. He's still a rookie.
Everyone loves to go for it on 4th down in Madden, but then when you do it in a game and you just completely get destroyed, it's kind of like all right, buddy, it's time to punt once or twice now.
Yeah, that's where I was like, okay, he's got to learn. He's got to learn. He can't. And the reason why he kept going for it is because the previous games, Herbert kept getting it. So he got cocky thinking it was going to keep happening. It just wasn't happening. He's got to learn, which I think he will. I think he's a really smart guy, but he definitely showed his rookiness in that in that Baltimore game, which John Harbaugh will do that to you, man. That Ravens team is so well coached.
That Ravens seems so legit on their like 8th running backs.
I know.
Oh, how about that? We could talk about the Ravens and Bengals going into this because I have some fantasy hits to get on that. I think everyone fantasy wise knows who to play with the Chiefs and Titans. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
the Ravens running back situation is killing me. Yeah, the Ravens running back situation is killing me because I had Gus Edwards,
so annoying.
Picked up Tyson Williams, picked up Latavius Murray. Now all of them are out.
It's so
I can't win. I can't win,
dude. I really thought that Latavius Murray or Tyson Williams was going to be amazing in that backfield, but I realized really quick, man. Whether they get injured or not, that backfield, it just every second I look at it, I'm like, J.K. Dobbins would have had an amazing year this year, dude. I think he would have had arguably top 3 running back numbers this year. I just think he would have been incredible back there. But Tyson Williams, Latavius Murray, those guys aren't him, you know? And the crazy thing about the Ravens, man, that I've just am so impressed with, they're not trying to do running plays with Lamar anymore. They are literally letting him be the passer that he wants to be. Like the last 2 years, man, they always said, oh, he's a great passer. He's a great passer. But we always would still see them call running plays for him. They're barely doing that if you really watch their games. They are letting him drop back and throw the ball, and he's doing it really well.
Oh yeah, Lamar's definitely got the pocket presence going, and he's done something that he hasn't done before, which is he's stepping out a lot to throw now. He doesn't look to run immediately anymore. Which if I was him,
I would do it all.
Oh yeah, I'd be taking off every time. Like it's stat pad myself, but no, he definitely rolls out and looks to throw now. Andrews in Hollywood gets free on tons and tons of plays where he just rolls out and throws it to him. But yeah, and he still runs in clutch time situations when he needs to, but it's not some called run. He's not like called run 12 times, like RPO 12 times. Like he's throwing the ball now, and I do agree with you on JK. Full disclosure, me and Kayvon's in a keeper league. I was straight up targeting J.K. Dobbins as one of my keepers for like the next 3 to 5 years till he got hurt. So I had to pass on that one. But yeah, it's sad that he got hurt on that.
I think about this all the time. I did a major fail on that keeper league, dude. My team is vomit. My team is a big piece of shit. And excuse my language. I hate the way I drafted my key. I was so excited for that keeper league, Shawn, that I think I overthought it to the point where I drafted a big pile of poop. I mean, that is the worst damn team. I hate my team. I like Kyler, and I do have a couple of young guys that I like. I like Najee and stuff like that. But oh god, I overthought it. But next year I'm coming. I know what to do now, Shawn, and you better tell everyone in that league to watch out. I'm coming next year. All right.
Yeah, I think we all kind of went in with different strategies. Like, I mean, full disclosure, I took DK Metcalf number 1 overall because I thought he was. I still feel this way. As long as Russ stays, he's clear cut like top 5 receiver every year.
Yeah.
Year over year. Like I wouldn't have to worry about having a top 5 player in a position no matter what. Like running backs can get hurt, running backs can get old. Like, I felt it with DK, so I took him. That keeper league's wild though. And when time comes around next year and we do some like actual fantasy breakdown shows doing all that, it's gonna be wild to talk about all these scenarios you could do in keeper and dynasty leagues.
It's so fun.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. Yo, real quick, not to get all gossipy here on this show. Did you see the beef between DK Metcalf and Shannon Sharp?
So I saw him tweeting about Shannon. I don't know what Shannon said. So
my goodness. I'll try and pull it up when we look into it because I don't want to say the wrong things. But dude, Shannon called him out and then DK fired back to a point where I was shocked, man. There were some things said that I was like, whoa. I'll look it up when we move on and we'll bring it back up. But that was spike because what it was about was, I don't know if you remember in the Seattle game last week, DK had a sure first down, but he ended up trying to Oh, he should have ran out of bounds. That's what it was. It was right before overtime. He should have ran out of bounds. Instead, he tried to do hero ball, and Shannon called him out on it, and DK went
Yeah,
off.
that play on the cornerback made or the safety, that was a hell of a play. He
Yeah.
punched that ball perfect. Like it was the perfect punch on the ball. And yeah, DK should have got out of bounds, but I mean, it wasn't like he just flubbed a fumble out there or like lost in his hands. Like it was a perfect punch. It was a really good play.
It was a very good play. All right, so back to the Bengals Ravens. What are you liking in this game? I think this is actually one of your. Are we going to save this to the for the end of the show, or do you want to talk about this?
I can go ahead and bring this up.
Okay.
My third and short this week, my lock. I got Bengals plus 6.5. Bengals, they're going to cover. I feel like they might win outright.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. You could probably convince me to put them on the money line before the weekend's over. I like Burrow this week. I like him a lot. Burrow and Chase has the connection. Ravens secondary still a little shaky no matter what. Herbert just really didn't get exploited all that much. Zach Taylor is what worries me with that team, honestly, that and the O-line. But I feel like Burrow is going to have the blitzes under control with his line of scrimmage awareness, get checked to the right plays. And I just like this Bengals team. I think the defense is much improved. Lamar might have a field day for all I know, but I feel like the Bengals are going to score right there with them, and they might make a play here at the end. But it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. 6.5 is a big number for that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not betting this game, but if I had to, it would be on the Bengals. I just can't lay that number right now. I think the Bengals are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I think that they're playing, and surprisingly, their O-line is playing well. And like anybody that doubted the Jamar Chase pick, it's really hard to doubt that now. He looks incredible. Joe Burrow looks awesome. The only thing that worries me is the Ravens are also one of the hottest teams. They're playing so well, but the reason why I like the Bengals to cover is that was a monster win by the Ravens there. I don't know if they, like against the Chargers, I don't know if they get up as much now for the Bengals. I know it's a divisional game and everyone says you'll still get up. I still think that the Ravens kind of look down on the Bengals, and I think that the Bengals need to hit them in the mouth to get the Ravens' attention fully. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that the Bengals are going to bring it to them. And I think the Ravens win, but I think it will be a very interesting game just because the Ravens are at home. I would not be surprised if both of these, well, I know the Ravens are going to beat it. I would not be surprised if the Bengals make the playoffs at all at this point.
Yeah, they definitely have a shot for sure. Wild card. But I actually think the Bengals are going to wake up for this game because you hear a lot of talk. Oh, they beat the Lions. Oh, they beat the Jags. Oh, they're going to wake up for this game because they want to make a statement here. And if they played the Packers well, that would have been a big time statement. But you coming in and beating the Ravens, who's one of the hottest teams, like you said, that's a big time statement right there. I think they're going to wake up for this game. I really, really like that pick.
I think so too, and I think that will be a really fun. I mean, that's going to be a fun game to watch, man. That's going to be a really fun game to watch. So, who are you looking at for fantasy in this matchup?
I mean, there's must starts all over the place there. I mean, obviously, you're going to start Lamar. Obviously, Hollywood and Mark Andrews are in. Obviously, Jamar Chase is in.
Yeah.
So, I do daily fantasy lineups. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah.
I do it in like the $100,000 contest. Like, well, it's $1 million, but the first place out of a bunch of people wins 100,000. I play those all the time. One of my favorite picks in this always Tyler Boyd because he's a catch machine and he's always cheap. So I feel like he's
a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, he's a very good pickup for daily. I think T. Higgins, I don't know what's going on with him. I think the injury is really bothering him a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Chase is just taking targets from him or what. I mean, because Boyd's always open from the slot, and Chase is the over-the-top guy. So I guess T is going to have to get used to playing the Y or something, but he's just not looking right now. Mixon, obviously, you got to run. And I don't know what to do about that Ravens running back situation. I'd probably just stay away from all of it.
I would stay away. I would not try and take a flyer on Devontae Freeman or anything like that. I think you obviously have Mark Andrews, and I think for DFS too, Mark Andrews is so hot right now because Lamar is just looking at him every single time. and the Bengals actually don't do that great of a job against tight ends, he's going to be expensive in DFS, obviously, but Mark Andrews, you're going to start in season long. I think Lamar is going to have a big game. I think that there's going to be scoring in this game, man. I think it's going to be a fun scoring game. That will be interesting to kind of watch. What game do you want to move on from here?
Oh, actually, I was going to make a quick DFS point too.
Yep.
Two things, like when you're building a lineup, there's two ways to do it. Either you stack quarterback with two receivers, and they're usually high paying. One of the ways I really like to do it, I like to do Russ when he's playing with DK and Lockett, so all of his points are going up there, and you get double essentially. Or either like I was doing Burrow with Boyd and Chase sometimes too. One thing to look at when you're playing high salaried lineups like that, you need some people on the lower end, but you need them to perform. So if you want somebody that's like a flyer that you can do, the Bengals tight end, Uzoma, he's like a touchdown machine.
Yeah.
So, and he's usually like 2,500, 3,000. He's a good pickup if you like have a heavily stacked receiver running back lineup and you just want to make sure you get a tight end in there, try to get some points from him. He's a very good DFS play if you need something like that. So I was going to say, just look out for that on that.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you want to actually win money in those, those are the type of people that you have to find. You have to find some cheap player that really takes off. So yeah, no, great point there on DFS. And real quick, in what Shawn said with his third and short, right? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, third and short, third and long.
Third and short, yeah. So what that is, for those that are tuning in for the first show, every show for college and NFL, we're going to do, both of us are going to have a third and short and a third and long. Our third and short is a play that we really like. It's like a reasonable play. You know, it's not like it could actually really happen, a good percentage of it. And then the third and long is a long shot, a play that we think is possible, but you got to have a couple bounces go your way to get it done. We're going to do those, both have those picks every show for college and NFL. We had ours last night for college. Go tune in for that. And then, yeah, his third and short this week is the Bengals.
Yeah. Third and short, you want to keep it in there. This is the money down right here. Third and short, you're looking at like a 3rd and 2. You got Derrick Henry back there. You got AJ on a slant. You're ready to convert no matter what. Lamar's your quarterback. Don't know what's coming. That third down's getting converted. Third and long, you got penalties happening. You're 3rd and 17. You're way back. I don't know if you're going to convert it, or you could just be like Kyler and throw a touchdown 3rd and 26.
That's what I was just about to say. You got to pull the Kyler to Hopkins if you want to convert that one.
So yeah, those are going to be like, we have several on the spread this week. They're double digits. That would be like those. We're not on any of those this week. We'll get into that a little bit. Yeah. But those type of plays, maybe a prop that's just like way out there that we like, maybe something like that. That's our third and long. We're not going to guarantee it's going to happen, but something we feel good about that's a very, very long shot to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. And those will be really fun as we go. Some plus money type plays that if it does win, you can really cash in. What game do you want to move on from here?
I don't know. Did you want to hit Eagles Raiders, or do you want to talk the Panthers right quick? Or are the Panthers playing? Where's the Panthers going?
Yeah, the Panthers are taking on the Giants. We can talk about the Giants too real quick because they're a mess. Yeah, let's go to that. Go ahead and start with that.
What I was going to say about the Panthers, this is like their season too. It's really interesting with both the Falcons and the Panthers this week in the same division. Yeah. They both have to win because they're playing bad teams. Yeah. And if they lose to these bad teams right here, you can kiss that season goodbye. No doubt. Darnold needs to bounce back big time. He has been struggling.
Ever since those first 3 games, which, by the way, I said this right after. I said, yes, he looks good. But it was just like the freaking Broncos. Look at the teams they played. It was terrible teams against terrible defenses. Now, I think Sam Darnold has the talent. I was high on him coming out of USC. You knew that. We talked about this. I think he was actually my favorite out of that draft class, if I remember right. He hasn't lived up to that, but I thought with Joe Brady, things will change. He still just doesn't. There's just something missing about him, man. And I really wish I could do better analysis here and tell you what it is, but I really can't put my finger on it. It honestly just feels like a confidence issue. He just doesn't have the swag. Like Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr doesn't get talked about a lot. Derek Carr has swagger. Like when Derek Carr walks out on the field, I look at that game and I'm like, yo, he legitimately thinks that they can win this game right now. It doesn't matter if they're playing the Ravens, the Chargers, the Chiefs. He's out there and you could tell he thinks he can win this game for his team. You see that with Kyler. You see that with these Sam Darnold. You see with Trevor already a couple games in. Even though they're not winning, you can see Trevor showed. Burrow for sure has that swagger. I just don't see this like type of, maybe because it's so monotone for him, I just don't see this type of attitude from him that makes me feel confident in his play. Even when it looks good, like on the field, it still doesn't look good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Even with the swagger thing, as you're talking, I think it's more of a leadership issue. I think he just isn't a great leader. Like the Jets never really rallied around him all that much, and I mean the Jets were dysfunctional, so I kind of give him a pass on that. Yeah. But really, the truth is the reason why they're losing is because Christian McCaffrey's out. Like Christian McCaffrey's actually the leader of the team. Yeah, if you really want to be honest, and that's why Sam's playing as bad as he is right now, in my opinion. He's turning the ball over and can't hit throws because he doesn't have the security blanket to check it down to.
But that's a problem. That's a problem. Man.
That's a problem if you want him to be your leading quarterback.
You can't rely on one guy like that. If you're trying to get paid, if you're trying to be the guy that they end up loving so they don't trade for Sam Darnold, you got to be better for that. Now, you obviously want him out there, and you're obviously going to step your game up when he's out there, but it can't be this big of a drop-off when he's not out there.
Yeah, but like I said, this is why there's the season right here. They've got to find a way to beat the Giants without McCaffrey because if they lose to the Giants the way the Giants have been playing, because I don't know how Gettleman's still employed, and I don't call for anybody's job like that. I hate doing that. But, I mean, Gettleman's been super questionable. I mean, he actually is one of my most entertaining people to watch in the draft because, like, he's just some of his draft picks are just so.
No, I mean, I'll say it, dude. I have a buddy at work who's a Giants fan. We talk about this all the time. I agree. I don't like to call for people's job. They have 2 first-round picks this year. Gettleman has already botched so many damn first-round picks. They can, if they don't turn the season around, they cannot allow him to botch 2 more first. They have to get someone in there to take advantage of those 2 first-round picks. Otherwise, I mean, dude, the Giants they're too much of a mess to talk about. Daniel Jones, I thought, had looked awesome the first 4 games of the season. I thought he looked good. Like, I was like, okay, he actually is showing progression. Then he got hurt. Then Joe Judge doesn't look like the coach I thought. The Giants are just a mess. The Panthers and the Falcons both play in Atlanta next week. So if they both can win this game, that next week game will be fascinating, dude. Yep. They'll both go in there. The Panthers will be 4-3. The Falcons will be 3-3. And that, the Falcons win that game, they take control of second place in the division, depending on what happens in New Orleans, which we'll get to. But you're right. If they both lose, they're going into that game as a consolation prize pretty much at that point.
Yeah, and the last game we'll get into after we talk about that Eagles-Raiders game is going to be the Sunday night game. And if the Niners were to lose that game, the winner of the 2 next week, if they both win going in, the winner of that Falcons-Panthers game is right there in the driver's seat wild card wise, because you're gonna have. I mean, the Packers division's kind of it's the Packers. They're walking away with it. No one from the East is making it, but the Cowboys.
Nope.
So really, you're looking at the South and the West really being the ones with wild card teams, and the Saints look kind of solid right now, but you never know with Jameis.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Cardinals and Rams will get in no matter what. It's just whether they win the division.
Yeah. Shoot, one of those teams are going to have 13 wins in a wild card, man. Which is crazy. One of those teams is going to be 13-4, I guess it is now, and they're going to be sitting in a wild card spot, which is crazy. Now let's move to or anything else on that game.
No fantasy wise, you just got to play DJ Moore, really.
Yeah. And Robbie Anderson's been a huge disappointment. Maybe that's back to Sam. I wasn't high on him coming in, but a lot of people were drafting him to have a very big year this year. Maybe
Chuba Hubbard's been a huge drop off from McCaffrey. I did not expect that at all. I thought he was going to do a lot better. I thought he would be more like Mike Davis was last year.
Me too.
And then obviously, if you drafted Saquon, you got to play Saquon. I wouldn't be confident in it.
I think he's out.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think
is Tony back or is he out too?
Who?
Kadarius, Tony?
I think Kadarius is out as well.
They don't have any players. They might have
Which, by the way, I actually like Sterling Shepard this week if you have him because of the point that they don't have any players. Like that is literally the only person they can throw to, and I think he's caught 9 passes the last 3 weeks that he's been in because they don't have anyone else. So flyer to take if you have someone on the bye.
Yeah, good DFS flyer would be Slayton if he's in. I know he's like going to be a game time or something. Maybe he's been officially in, but he's a good flyer to take on DFS. And also Panthers defense, I'd run with them.
No doubt. All right, agreed. Let's move on to the Eagles Raiders game. Look, this is a game that has my attention here. A lot of people. It was so interesting, Shawn. Week 1. I saw all these people raving about the Eagles because they smacked us down. And I was telling everyone, guys, it was us. We looked terrible. Like, the Eagles are not going to be a good team this year. And they've showed ups and downs. And I'll just say right now, my 3rd and short this week, you couldn't even say it's a 3rd and long, but they're only a 3-point underdog, so you really can't say that. Their 3rd and short is the Eagles. The reason I said you could say it's a 3rd and long is because I've seen no one backing them, but I'm going with the Eagles on this play. I think the Eagles go into Las Vegas, and I think they win outright, and I think it's because they're going to be able to run all over this Vegas defense, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a big game, but this is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself here. I like the Eagles because of this spot. I think that the Raiders are going to be on a big high that's going to come down. And I like to cap games, Shawn, in a very situational. I like to look at games situationally. I like to look at, okay, they just had a huge win. Now they have to come down a little bit. Or depending on the opponent, they've been traveling, stuff like that. I look at it that way a lot. I just think the Raiders are going to come down. But how I'm going to contradict myself is what I'm about to say with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts looks terrible. And again, I know I'm on them this week. So I think he's going to play good this week. I think they're going to win this week because this is more of a play against the Raiders. Jalen Hurts looked really bad in that Thursday night game. He's looked really bad all year other than against the Falcons week 1. He's missing wide open throws, man. He is clearly not a good passer. I mean, he's not an accurate passer at all. And if you're the Eagles, man, you see that the Miami Dolphins are seriously pushing on Watson. You can't feel happy about Jalen Hurts as your future at this point, right?
No, and that's why I can't back that pick.
I understand. That's your pick. Look, man.
That's your pick,
like and all stanky picks, man. Like, listen, if these are one of those things where you like hold your damn nose, or if you're walking into a casino and you're placing this pick, put on a hoodie, don't let anyone catch you placing this bet, bro. Get in. Place it, hide your ticket, and if it wins, then you can start screaming it around, right? Sometimes I like to take these shots at it. I think they win, but I totally understand why you can't back it. Trust me.
Yeah, because if we're being honest, Hurts looks like what everyone thought Lamar, myself included, what everyone thought Lamar was going to look like. Just missing wide open short throws. Like, I mean, Josh Allen, his first year-esque, just missing people by a mile. Yeah. And I just can't back any team with a quarterback playing like that. And I know you said the running and the ball and everything. The Raiders do give up a lot of rush yards, but the Eagles just don't run the ball with the running back sometimes. They just forget about it for some reason.
Yeah.
If I was them, I'd be running read option all game.
Yeah, dude, I have Miles Sanders I legit dropped Miles Sanders. I dropped him. He's worthless. They don't run it. They don't run it at all. It's pointless in another league. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. But no, I agree. So the good thing for the Eagles fans out there, I'm not trying to hate on the Eagles. You guys are set up in a beautiful spot with the Dolphins pick and your pick, and then possibly whatever happens with the Colts, which we'll talk about here in a minute. So you're going to have the opportunity to replace him. You have to do it. You have to. He is not a starting quarterback in this league.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Deshaun at this point. I know we talked about it a little bit last night, but reports are Deshaun is literally saying only the Dolphins.
Yeah,
which kills the Texans' trade value, by the way. Because if I'm the Dolphins, I ain't offering a ton for him now. It's like he's only coming to us. So,
but Deshaun's putting them in a tough spot.
But as far as the Eagles are concerned, they'll find a way. I mean, I guess Howie's going to get one more crack at a quarterback after this. I see a lot of people talking about putting Minshew in. Now you got to ride with Hurts at this point. He's got to
Yeah,
have the season.
no.
Minshew's definitely a backup. I mean, I'll get a lot of fanboys get real mad about me saying that if they're all hearing it. But Minshew's a backup. They've got to ride with Hurts, but Hurts is just missing too many throws, and it isn't like he doesn't have weapons. Lane Johnson coming back is going to help him out a lot.
Yeah.
That O line's getting solidified again.
So
I do want to see how he plays. Yeah, I do want to see how he plays the rest of the year with the O line coming back and everything, but he's just too shaky right now for me to back. And Carr is way too hot for me to go against with Jalen Hurts being the opposite quarterback. Like I said, so we're on opposite sides on that backing, but Derek Carr's been a freaking baller all year.
Yeah,
I mean,
Derek
he's
Carr,
been balling.
I love Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr reminds me now. He's not as good as Matt Ryan. All right, right now he is because Matt's older, but he's not Matt Ryan in his prime. But he reminds me a lot of Matt Ryan in the terms of he just doesn't get attention. He doesn't get the attention he deserves. Not a lot of people talk about him or give him credit. They're always looking to trade him. It's exactly how Matt Ryan was until he finally won an MVP. So he reminds me of that. Derek Carr's great. I wish they could get Henry Ruggs involved more than once every other game. There's still some things with the Raiders that I knew that I was on the Raiders last week. I knew they were going to step up. I knew that this was it. They weren't going to hide from the moment or anything like that. I just think that they're going to come down a little bit. But look, on Monday, I will stand here and be fully front up if I'm wrong on that play. That's how it is. But I'm taking a shot here at the Eagles, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as far as you're talking about Ruggs too, Ruggs I like to parallel careers a lot based on what I see and how people play their game. Ruggs reminds me a lot of how Hollywood is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hollywood this year has really expanded his game. That first year, Hollywood was nothing but a hit or miss deep threat. Yep. The second year, he was a consistent deep threat, but he was only used once or twice. Yeah. Now Hollywood's a huge integral part of the offense. I kind of feel like Ruggs might get to that level toward the end of the year and next year.
They better hope so.
That's what he needs to go for.
They better damn hope so, because there's guys like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson sitting behind saying, you could have had me over this guy, So I hope you're right. I like Ruggs. I think he's a great talent, but they got to get him to that spot of more because he's a great weapon. He's a great threat. They got to use him more.
I agree. They have Waller too underneath. They need to start running more clear outs with that. Clear Waller through the middle and let Ruggs hit, or either let Waller hit over the top on the double and let Ruggs cut under. Yeah. They just send Ruggs deep most of the time, or either send him on screens. Like, you gotta let him get some intermediate. Like I said, I think that might come. Hollywood didn't develop that until this year, so maybe they're waiting for the route running to come through, but. No I do like Ruggs in the future. It's just going to be interesting to see because so many great receivers were taken after him.
No doubt. Yeah, it's a great. So that will be an interesting game, and I will be having my eyes all over Jalen Hurts moving forward because I just and not even the point of Minshew is a backup, which I agree he is. It's just it does nothing for their franchise to play him. They got to let Hurts get as much minutes as possible so that either they can find out what they really have in him, or maybe that they could show to another team that he could be viable for them or trade him. I don't know. So there's got to be something else here for them to do. Let's move on to the Sunday night game, right?
Yep, I think that's the biggest game of the day, easily.
I think it's going to be a great game. That's the Colts going to San Francisco. 2-4 Colts, 2-3 49ers. 49ers have lost both games at home already. Open up the floor with you, Shawn. What are you looking at in this game?
I want to see how Jimmy plays for one. That's going to be really interesting, especially with how they used Lance last week, and now Lance is hurting out. It's like, so there's no bullpen coming out. It's all Jimmy this week.
The way that Lance, and a lot of it was on Lance, but it was also on Kyle Shanahan. That was a terrible, man. Lance is going to get himself killed out there if he plays like that. Yeah. You can't, and he's going to learn. He's going to learn, and hopefully Kyle Shanahan's going to teach him. But that was tough to watch. I mean, he was running like with his head cut off, dude.
I know a lot of 49ers fans probably been bringing this up. I see a lot of it on Twitter. A lot of people down on Shanahan this year, and I've watched him a few times. I can't really fault him. His play calling's been a little suspect this
It
year.
has been. Well, dude.
And
Yeah.
again, my wife's big on fantasy. She has Elijah Mitchell because she was first in waivers when he came up for the claim after week 1, and he needs to be used more. He's actually a baller.
Yeah, he is a baller.
And it's weird that they drafted him after Sermon and they use him more, but he needs to be used a lot more. I don't know why they went away from the run game like they have. It's been very strange.
Yeah.
Shanahan's having a real awkward year, in my opinion. So I'm expecting him to come out with some plays after that bye week.
Yeah, and that brings me to this, and we're not going to get into this now, but I do want to get into this with you on a show. We can get into it a little bit right now. There's a rumor out that, and it's. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it's a big rumor. I think someone, I'll have to find out the credit. I think someone wrote about it heavily. I think a couple people did, and that is that we all remember that Kyle Shanahan. There was the big rumor that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, and that was the whole draft and all that stuff. Recently, I don't know if you saw this, but it came out that Kyle Shanahan actually really did want Mac Jones, and what's his name? The GM. Why am I blanking?
John Lynch.
Yeah, John Lynch really liked Trey Lance, and Kyle Shanahan said, I like Trey Lance as well. I just like Mac Jones more, but I can be talked into Trey Lance. And a lot of people are commenting on Shanahan's play calling and his facial expressions, and they're saying it's because he's seeing how the potential of Mac Jones. I mean, dude, Mac Jones has looked good. He has had some rough spots, but he has looked like he is going to be a good quarterback. And they're saying, okay, he's pissed off that he doesn't have Mac Jones. And he's not very excited about what Trey Lance is doing and all that stuff. It's a fascinating part of this, man, because if he really did want Mac Jones and he didn't get it, that tension could grow.
So with that conversation, this might get a little technical. That's a classic coach versus front office conversation.
No doubt.
Because Mac was Mac's almost at his ceiling, in my opinion. That's what you're going to get from him. He's going to be very accurate on short to intermediate. He's going to throw a deep ball once, twice a game when the play is called for it. It's going to go where it's supposed to go. And that's what Shanahan loves in a quarterback. He loves Kirk Cousins. Have you ever heard him talk about Kirk Cousins?
Oh, my God, he loves it.
The man loves him.
Yeah.
So, I mean
I think the pinnacle of Kyle Shanahan's career so far, he has a long way to go, is what he did with Matt Ryan. I understand they went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, but I think the MVP year he had with Matt, that is Kyle Shanahan's best coaching moment of his career so far.
Yeah, so that being said, Mac Jones is probably his ceiling's probably Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan-esque. Like, that's what he is. So I can see Shanahan leaning towards him for sure. I also can see Shanahan not wanting to be a straight-up quarterback coach anymore at this point. Like, he loves to design offense. And when I say this, I mean it. Trey Lance's delivery is broken. I mean, it is so loopy. The way how long it takes him to bring the ball from bottom to top and release it.
Yeah.
The thing is he's gonna have to put hours upon hours upon hours in the offseason into fixing that release. And I don't even know if Shanahan really wants to do that. But that's a classic front office thing because Lance has all the talent in the world. Lance could be like Josh Allen if he goes and works on that.
I think he will. I'm high on Lance. I'll put that out here. I really do like Lance. I actually wanted the Falcons to take Lance if he was there at number 4. But I knew he was going to have some work, and I do think Kyle will work on him. But when you hear those rumors, it just starts to make you think, is he really going to want to work on him? Because is he pissed off? And what's very fascinating, Shawn, Kyle is the one that hired John Lynch. If you remember back then, Kyle got hired first. They didn't, because Balky got out. They didn't have a GM. They hired Kyle Shanahan, and then Kyle Shanahan said, let's go hire John Lynch, who they were really good friends, and brought in as the GM. So if those are true, which, again, those rumors didn't come from nowhere. There was a reason why everyone kept saying he liked Mac Jones in the process. It's just something interesting to watch. To get back to the game here, who do you like in this game? What are you going to be looking for from both sides? Where are you at in this game?
As much as I hate to say it because they're in division, I kind of like the Colts on Sunday night. I don't know. I got to look at the line. I don't know what the spread is on that game, actually. I'll check that.
It's +4. The Colts are +4.
Okay,
And
so
by the way, and I'll say this right now, if you guys out there like the Colts, I would take it now because I think that's dropping. There is sharp money, and what I mean by that is professional bettors are betting on the Colts. So that means that money is going to take that line to my +3.5, maybe even +3. So if you like that line, I would take it out now for all you guys out there.
Yeah, I like that +4 for sure. I kind of like them outright to win. I wouldn't mind the money line on that one either. You could probably talk me into it.
Yep.
The thing is, like, there is also some weird stats going on about East Coast teams that's been covering the way that is going to the West and everything. Usually, the West Coast team actually gets them.
Right?
Jimmy G just back in Jimmy G is just hard for me to do, especially off an injury. And if he gets hurt again, they're going to Sudfeld. Like,
oh my God.
Like, I just can't do it. The thing that does bother me about the Colts, though, on one thing, Paris Campbell's out again.
Yeah.
And I'll make a weird prediction for you. Paris Campbell's going to sign with the Jags in the offseason. It's like he's like Urban Meyer's favorite player. And he's going to probably get a 1-year prove-it. And Balky doesn't care about an ACL or any injury whatsoever. He's going to sign with the Jags in the offseason. I just feel it coming.
That's a great signing, man. Paris Campbell in the lineup, you can tell it's a huge difference with that Colts offense. It spreads the whole damn field out.
He was the poor-man Ruggs last week.
Damn.
He had 1 for 51. He had 1 catch for 51 and a touchdown.
It was great. It was amazing. That really, really sucks because Carson Wentz was looking great. But so I have 2 third and shorts this week. The Colts are I'm going with 2 underdogs. I like the Eagles again. Put your hood on if you're making that bet. Hide. Don't let anyone see you. It's an ugly bet, but if you win, then you can brag about it. I really like the Colts, man. I think the Colts win this game. The Colts right now, they should be 3 and they should have beat the Ravens. So they should be 3-3. Also, the Titans, they're 4-2. A couple losses, they lose to the Chiefs. If that's 4-3, if the Colts win, that's 3-4. They're right there still with the Titans. There's still a long season. I think the Colts know that. Their defense is getting much better. Their defense the last couple of weeks looks really good. I really think the Colts can win this game.
Yeah, Wentz has been playing out of his mind. 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's like the least mistakes he's had since Reich was back with him in the Eagles in his MVP year. It was almost MVP year before he got hurt. He should have been MVP that year if he'd kept playing. But as far as the Colts go, they're definitely on the upward swing. I'll tell you what the key to this game is, though. It's going to be Armstead and Bosa and them on the line trying to get after it with Jonathan Taylor running. That's what the key is. Yeah, you got to stop that run first with the Colts playing Jonathan Taylor. And we're going to see how Fred Warner can play because you see a lot of people grading Warner low. And, I mean, Warner's a great linebacker. So I want to see him hitting Taylor in the hole pretty hard, getting him down.
Yeah, I think it will be, like you said, I think it will be the best game of the weekend other than that and the Ravens-Bengals game I'm going to be locked into. It will be a fun one. It will be a close one. I think it actually might be a low-scoring type game. I think like you said, I think we do see a lot of hitting. I think we do see a lot of stuffing the run. But I'm on the Colts, man. I think the Colts can win this game, and I think things can get really interesting in San Francisco after that with some if they lose this game and they go 2-4, there's going to be some stuff going on about just what's happening with Kyle Shanahan, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. People's going to be chirping, that's for sure. And I'm just thinking about this right quick. Both those teams are built exactly the same.
Yeah.
Buckner on one side, Armstead on the other. Darius Leonard and Frank Warner. Both secondaries are easily torchable. Both quarterbacks are like shaky sometimes with their turnover proneness. They both want to run like crazy, and they all have like speed receivers on the outside.
That's so true.
And Debo and Pittman are yak monsters. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, honestly, when you look at it. Wow. Okay, so what anything else from this?
No, we can go into our picks if you want.
Let's go to it. So I already gave mine. You already gave yours, but let's go again. So every show we're going to do this 3rd and short, 3rd and long. My guy, what you got?
So 3rd and short, like we mentioned earlier, I got Bengals +6.5. I'd honestly be willing to take them on the money line. I think the Ravens had back-to-back. They blew out the Chargers. That was a tough game. They came in prepared. But the Bills game probably drained them a little emotionally too. They're on a hot streak, but I kind of feel like Burrow and them is going to come in hot. really ready to show it, and I like the Bengals on that one. Do you want me to go to third and long and do both mine, and then we'll go to you?
Yeah.
All right. Third and long, I went with a prop.
Love
I
this
really
play.
like this.
Love this play.
I really like this play. So I know I just said everything I'm on the Colts this week, but I love Ayuk first touchdown. I feel like if the Niners get the ball first on that, I feel like they're going to test that secondary with Blackman being out for the year now. I want to see Ayuk hit a play action. People are talking about him. He's having a good practice this week. Garoppolo kind of likes him a lot. I just feel like a deep shot after a few run plays from Garoppolo to Ayuk, first touchdown. And if you're a little shaky on first touchdown, I definitely go with scores a touchdown. That's also plus 200. I feel like that's a solid third and long there for me.
Yeah, I love that play, man. That's such a fun play. I actually am going to go and take that play because it's just a fun play. It's something to get you invested in a game too as well. So great. All right, so I have 2 third and shorts this week. I got, again, the Eagles +3, and I've got the Colts +4. Okay, so those are my 2 third and shorts. For my third and long, I looked one up while we were going through it because, and I wanted to say this real quick to everyone out there that's betting. There's a reason why those buildings out there are in Vegas. There's a reason why they're so big and glamorous, because it's Vegas. They're going to always end up winning. Well, the last 2 weeks, Vegas has gotten killed. The public has absolutely destroyed the books in NFL. Be careful this week. Vegas is not going to let themselves get hurt 3 weeks in a row. They're going to make sure that these lines are looking weird for a reason. And we talked about it before. We said a lot of these things just look iffy, and they do. It's just sketchy to take a lot of them. Be careful. What I'm going to go for is Davante Adams to score 2 touchdowns, all right? Because listen, 1 touchdown, he scores so much, it's -120, okay? So it's not great. If you do Davante Adams score 2 touchdowns, it jumps up to +160. So look, he's got to score 2, but they're playing the Washington secondary, which is terrible. It's awful. They're at home. Rodgers loves throwing to this guy so much. I think he has a chance to get in the end zone twice, man. Again, it's hard to get 1, but to get 2, it's going to be really hard. But I think it's a long shot.
No, it's a good third and long. I like that play. If we're going third and longs, that's a good play right there.
Yeah,
Washington
awesome.
secondary is easily torchable, and Devontae's best in the league. So
yeah, I mean, I got it from when you said that pick before we started. I started looking on DraftKings, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can figure something out here. So good stuff there. All right, guys, this is the Money Down Pod. This is our second show ever, our first NFL show. It's been a blast so far. I know Shawn's loving it. I'm loving it. You can follow us on Twitter at Money Down Pod, Money Down Pod. You can find us on YouTube. Just type in the Money Down Pod. Shawn's going to get things going. He's killing it behind the scenes with the editing. He's getting it all together right now. And then eventually, sooner than later, probably by next week, it will be up on iTunes and all that stuff. Correct, Shawn?
Oh yeah, by next week it should be good to go. And like I said, we're going to keep improving on our speaking, on our podcast format, on the editing. We're just going to keep growing and improving, and hopefully you guys come along for the ride with us. Come on now, we're going to have the content out there going. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Wow. Of course, my dog starts barking at the end of the show. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, everything he said, guys, we're just going to get better and better as it goes. And what's going to make the show even better is when you guys start interacting with us, when we start getting some questions, some comments, when we start talking about what you want us to talk about. We have a set schedule of how we're going to do it, but we always can roll off course. If you guys want us to talk about some crazy topic in the NFL or college football, that's what we love to do. That's what we're willing to do. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit that little bell so you know whenever a new podcast comes out, then you can be on it and you can roll with us. Any last words you'd like to say before we head on out, my guy?
Yep, we're just going to keep the consistency going. We're going to keep uploading them no matter what, and we'll just always be here. We'll be here with the takes coming at you, so let's get it going.
And they're going to be good takes, and hopefully we'll win you some money along the ways too with some of these bets that we have. Great stuff, Shawn. It was fun as always. We appreciate all of you guys listening. Once again, the Money Down Pod. I'm Kayvon and Shawn. That's Shawn White. We'll be back next week on Monday to break down everything that happened this weekend.
See you.